I was working on I worked for totally all the way from Windows kernel to distributed computing and even on the UI in span of 6 years. So what industry needs is people who can learn quickly and actually adapt. So that's what industry needs, right? So that's what, I mean, if you show that kind of maturity when you join, it's easy to get a job. And regarding the artificial intelligence, I would say you have to read the maths first, right? So you got to read the probability, statistics, calculus, and vector calculus. And people say there are shortcuts, right? But if you really want to be the best of it, learn the basics first. So it could be, there are a few things, right? It's you got to read the differential calculus, the calculus, right? Vector calculus, differential calculus, integral calculus, and you need to read the probability, statistics, and then move on to statistical learning. And there are Coursera courses from Andrew Ng. That's what everyone reads today. So he's the kind of the best professor in artificial intelligence, right? So just start with that as well. But there is a huge lack of talent in AI is what I read. So I'm not an expert on that, but that's what I've been reading across different posts and blogs.
So get back to basics is what Rakesh is talking about the question of do we have openings in artificial intelligence. He's talking about for freshers. So he's saying that get back to basics, be strong in your computing, basics of computing, be strong in your coding, and be strong in your mathematics. And independent of technology, build yourself. That's what is the key message that he's saying. Artificial intelligence or data science, leave about it. If your basics are strong, go back, get back your engineering books, study again with a purpose, and you will win the world. Thank you so much. So, yeah. Next question, please, from the students. Please come here. Can I borrow the mic?
Yeah.
I think there is only one mic today, so just you can hold it and speak. Hold it near your mouth and speak it. Yeah.
Sir, I have 3 questions for you.
Can you turn that side?
Be a little louder.
Be a little louder.
Sir, are you pushed into this engineering or you have own interest? That's first question. That is. My second question is, why all are you using Google as in search engine? Safari is also in web browser, sir, in Apple. So why all not using that? All only using this Google. Many features are in Google, many apps are in Google. Why we can't see many apps in Apple Store? And what is the third question is, what is the major bug you have seen in Windows, sir?
Oh yeah.
So we'll take question by question. Yeah.
So what was the first question? Sorry.
What is your name? You have to introduce, no? You will introduce yourself. Yeah.
My name is Chaitanya, sir.
Chaitanya. Say, what was the first question again?
Are you pushed into this engineering?
Oh, I pushed it into engineering, right? Okay, so yeah. So I was interested in engineering, but it's totally different. My plan was to become an aerospace engineer rather than a computer science. But I was my parents were not really into the aerospace and stuff. So they kind of at that time I had to compromise and take computer science. But I took the computer science group in 11th, inter, right? So computer science was my second option. It was not my first option, obviously. So in a way you can say I was pushed into computer science rather than aerospace. And the second question is Google Chrome is what you're talking about, or in the Google.
Apps are into only Google Play Store, not into Apple Play Store. What is the difference? And it is Apple is more secure than Google.
It's pretty much this. I mean, this is what my observation. It could be wrong, right? So Google targets a middle class people, and it's building a phone for almost everyone. Apple phones are pretty much for rich folks in India. That's how it works, right? So once you have a larger audience, larger apps, more number of apps get deployed, more number of apps get created. So generally people create apps only for the platform which has more number of users. So if you're millions and millions of users, even if you make some really bad app, at least you would get 10 or 15 downloads or 15 users. So that's why more number of apps getting created for Google instead of Apple, I would say. I think Apple has a lot of apps as well. But in my personal opinion, right, it's it may or may not matter, but it doesn't matter how many apps you have. It matters even if you have millions of apps. I hardly use 10 to 15 apps in my day-to-day life. I don't really care how many apps, rather
many apps with many features, no, sir.
I don't know how many features would you need, right? That's what I'm saying. as a person, like, would you need like hundreds and hundreds of features, or you can lead your life like in a simple way, like, okay, I just have 10 features that can automate me. If there is like a better feature which can automate another part of my life, for example, I use like all the banking from mobile, right? I just have mobile apps for that, because that makes it simple. I don't want to log into the stuff. Any money transfer, I use apps, right? So, and I just keep track of like how much I'm spending in app. That's pretty much what I would need. I don't play games or whatever, at least on the mobile. So this is enough for me. So I guess like even Windows Mobile was enough for me before I got an Apple, right? So that's on the count of apps. That's what I would say, right? This exactly. This might be the reason. Is my guess. I might be wrong. You can find this answer if you simply Google it, right? So yeah. And third question is like toughest bug, right? There was this bug on network file system. It was so in Windows generally, like, it's if you're setting some pointer to null, generally the value is -1, which means FFFFF in a hexadecimal format. So -1 means it's